horse friends, and welcome to the Imperfect Question. Today I'm with my friend Janice. What are we going to be seeing with you today, Janice?
Today we're going to do a little bit of positive reinforcement training, Becky.
Oh, that would be really interesting. So let's go have a look at that.
You look so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you.
So Janice, could you tell me, is there a difference between clicker training and positive reinforcement training?
No, it's exactly the same thing, Becky, and the proper scientific term would be positive reinforcement training.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, but very often clickers are used, so that's how the crossover thing
So is there other ways of doing it other than having a clicker?
Really, you always need, so a clicker is a bridge signal. So it marks a moment in time when the horse is doing the right thing, the behaviour that we're looking for, and it tells the horse that food or a primary reinforcer will be delivered soon. So it lets that horse know this is the moment, this is what I need to do more of. Yeah.
So actually, what is it? What is the positive reinforcement?
Okay, so it's scientific and it's part of learning theory, and positive reinforcement training is one of the 4 quadrants of the training operant conditioning. So with positive reinforcement training, the horse will do a behaviour, and as a consequence, he gets something that he likes, an appetitive.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's really good to know. So what kind of horse or animal would this be suitable for?
So this will work on any being that has a mammal brain. So it works on us.
Yeah.
You know, dogs, the dog world use this all the time, really.
Oh, that's really interesting to know.
yeah.
That's good. And does it matter the age of the horse?
No, you just saw us with Tom, the old ex-race horse up there, didn't you? And we were doing a little bit with him, teaching him how to do little behaviours.
Yes. So maybe we could see some examples of this with your horse.
Yes, that's great. You mentioned clicker training before, Becky, and we said that's the thing that we use to mark the exact behaviour that we want the horse to do. So Micky, my horse, is already conditioned to know that the click means that's the moment. And he gets a little bit too keen, really, probably beginner's mistakes and still learning. So the first thing it's good to teach a horse is to touch a target, and it's very natural for a horse to touch a target. It's the first thing they do when they're foaled. They go looking, for the mum's milk. Most horses will touch a target. So now I know a little bit more, I've been looking for his emotions. So when he settles a bit, we'll wait for him to settle.
Do you need to know a lot about the horse's body language for this?
Yeah, it's good to be able to see. I feel he's settled now, so I'll go target. So I'm asking him to touch the target. He touches it. I click when he touches it, and then I deliver him food.
So how does he know that the click means food?
So when you first start, really what you need to do is condition your clicker. So you need to spend, quite some time, perhaps say, 7 days. And the experts would tell you exactly how long is a good time. Maybe 3 sessions a day, possibly like 10 clicks, just as wild guesses here, really, where you go click, food, click, food. So the clicker becomes what is called a secondary reinforcer.
Right.
So the food is a primary reinforcer. It's something that all horses love, no matter what, don't they? We need it. We need it to survive. But the clicker takes on the same reinforcement value, really. So when he hears the click, that releases the same chemicals in his body, endorphins and dopamine, all those kind of things, as food does. So
I see you've got your clicker attached to your stick there as well. That's a really clever idea.
Yeah, and I got this off a lady called Shawna Karrasch, who's actually an expert, and anybody go and look her up. She's actually in America, but she made these. She was a sea lion trainer, and it extends. So I can use this target then. Once you've trained them to touch the target, you can use the target to get them to place themselves somewhere. So we could learn how to touch his hip against the target, not just his nose.
So it doesn't have to be just the nose. It could be any part.
As you progress, then you learn how to use the target to get them to be in the right place. But the idea then is that the target would fade away. So you don't always have to have your target. And I can show you some examples of that now.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Micky has always been a bit of a tricky horse, and at the beginning, I've had him since he was a foal, he doesn't like being touched. And I absolutely adore touching my horse, you know, my horses. I love cuddling them. So I train Micky to cuddle me. So this is one of his little tricks. So I go, can you give your mum a love? Good job.
Oh.
So that's my way to get my cuddles in. Another little thing that I've taught Micky is to give me a kiss. All bad things. Give your mum a kiss. Good job. So the clicker's just letting him know that's it and food's coming. And to be quite honest, because I've done those things so often, I don't have to click all the time, really. Another thing that Micky's learnt is to target his hip against my hand. Hip, hip. Good job. Good boy.
So what kind of application could you use the hip trick for?
That would be useful to mount, you know, and get your horse in the right place for where you want him and that kind of thing. I've also taught him to be wormed using positive reinforcement.
Right, could we see that?
So we'll try it. We haven't practiced this for a while, but let's try it. I should just say here that as well as using like the mechanical clicker that you can buy from the shops and places, you know, a bridge signal can be anything really. And I also got trained early on and by Maxine to use like a word that stands out to the horse. So just saying, good boy, that's not good enough. But what I do is I go, give mummy a love. Mummy a love. Good. So it's a very pronounced and high pitched good. So that's what I'll use for the wormer because I can't have enough hands. Are you ready? Do you want to be wormed? Open. Not brilliant, he is against my hand there, but much better than if I didn't have it trained in. So it is useful for, you know, husbandry.
Yes.
Husbandry procedures, like, you know, people use it to being for them to.
It's not to be seen just for tricks, it's got a practical
That's
application.
it, yes. It can be used for anything where you train your horse behaviours, walking with you or, you know, doing anything, moving away from you. You can train all of the things you can train in other methods with positive reinforcement training.
What kind of advantages do you find in positive reinforcement training?
So I feel that the main thing is how the horse feels about it. You know, they become really quite engaged with you and wanting to do things. It's sort of a cooperation. It's like they really like it. Too much sometimes, but
do you have any problems with the treat aspect at all?
You have to be careful with that, I think, from the start, don't you? So really it isn't about, people think it's all about the food, but it does become about the game, the same as in all kinds of training. You know, they do start to like fit in and want to do things. So but you do have to be careful because you don't want them to be mugging you. So earlier on you may have noticed me just like, I don't do anything about it, but I just sort of step away so he can't practice, you know, being on my treat bag. And if he's calm, good. He's not truly calm because he's winning, so I know he's a bit over threshold. And sometimes their male horses drop, you know.
Yeah.
But at least he knows to be away from my space. Do you want to be calm?
That's very clever.
Good
very
boy.
useful
So
as well.
I can create myself a little bit of space there. But, you know, as with all training, it can be done well or not well. And I am an imperfect equestrian as well, Becky. I know that's what you call yourself. I'm one as well. So I know this isn't perfect. And there's people to go and look at who are Shawna Karrasch and Maxine. And
so that's a good point. Is it open to everyone to try from a people point of view? Can anybody try it, or do you have to have a certain level of horsemanship before you would try this kind of?
I think it's probably to be aware of horses is a good thing. But yes, I think anyone can do it really, as long as they follow, you know, the basic things. But get a proper teacher, like to teach you really, isn't it?
That's good advice.
Yeah.
And what kind of treats are you using?
So I'm just using the Spillers pony nuts, high fibre things. But if people have got horses that are very heavy and concerned about the weight, people use hay. And then, you know, if you were teaching something like going in a trailer, maybe you'd want to use apples or carrots,
So-
things that have higher value.
I was going to say, would you say
want to
that has a
calm?
higher value?
Good boy. Yes, like carrots would be very high value for this horse. Apples, high value, those big fat treats. But I prefer these little ones because then I can give him more. Do you want to touch that target? He's got a stationary target here in his stable. So I can send him to that if I want to get in and he was a bit
Yes, that's
target.
a good idea.
job.
So in that respect, if he was a doorway crowd,
Yes.
you could get him out the way.
By sending him to his target on the other
Another
side.
very good practical application.
Yes, that's it. Good boy. And then it's good to give a finishing signal. So Micky will sort of know if I've got this on, there's a chance he could earn something. He might want to do his behaviours that I've trained him. Then it's good to like give a finishing signal. So because he is getting a little bit excited now. And I would say to people, if they were doing it, you know, perhaps pack the session in if they start getting a bit like giddy.
How long a session would you have?
I think not too long is good. Shortish, you know.
5-10 minutes,
Yeah,
or until
yeah.
you've seen a change?
Yeah,
something
and
like that?
sometimes I might go, I'm going to go in and do 10 clicks of a new behaviour and just build it up like that.
Can I ask, if you are trying to teach a behaviour and it's not coming forward straight away, do you just persevere, or do you try and find a new way to...
I try and think of a different way to help them. So it's like, you have to think of a way to get them to do it. Or I might see him doing it on his own.
Right, so you might look for an opportunity.
Yes, and then click that, yes. Yeah. Like if he stood square there, which he wasn't, I might think, oh, opportunity to tell him that standing square is a great thing.
And give him a chance to understand there was something there
yes.
that I got rewarded for, and
yes.
hopefully build from that point.
That's it. And perhaps what we've just seen there, I don't know if you could see it on the camera, is a good opportunity to say about not reinforcing things that you haven't asked for.
Right.
Keep things on cue. So what Micky was actually doing then, I do a lot of carrot stretches with him using the target because he's had kissing spine, Micky, operation, so he has to have rehab. So I basically do that every day. So what he'd done then, he'd taken himself away, stood where we very often do our stretches.
Yeah.
So he was saying, I'm here ready for my stretches, but I didn't ask him to do that. When you're finishing the session, then it's good to let the horse know and finish in a good place. So, you know, I might go, okay, Micky, we've finished now. He's still so happy on his target. So I'd do that, and then what I would do is give him a big handful so that he doesn't feel punished that I'm leaving, because he might think, what was he doing before I left?
Right.
I won't do that again.
That's a really interesting concept.
So, and you know, you can have a bucket on the floor. I
Yeah.
do this hand. He's an Arab, so he's quite gentle really, but you know, if you've got a horse with those lips that get you, you could throw the food onto the floor. Good boy.
Well, thank you for watching. We had a really good time learning about positive reinforcement training today and how to use the clicker. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.